welcome back to episode 12 of You Have 2 Minutes. And today I'm joined by the chairman of the Birmingham Speedway Supporters Club, Andy Dugmore. Andy, how you doing?
I'm all right. I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, sound. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so it's nice to be back doing one. It's been
Yeah,
a
it's
very busy period for everybody, isn't
hasn't it just? Yeah, it's been a while since I've had to edit one as well, but
it?
it has been really busy. It's all been like all systems go, even though for us, our season has kind of come to a bit of a halt, but we'll get onto that in a bit.
Perfect way to get onto it, actually. Season review overall. Quite
Uh,
disheartening to go out the way that it did at Edinburgh with losing two riders on the night and still only losing by 4 points.
yeah, I think that just, I think that just goes to show our look for this season, doesn't it? Yeah, just Sam's had an awesome season. I'd heard of his name. Obviously, everybody knows of his surname, right? And so when I heard of him, I was like, "Oh, blimey, okay." But and his team behind him are absolutely phenomenal. They're a great bunch of people, and you could okay, first couple of meetings, all right, yeah, he's got to learn the track and what have you. But then all of a sudden, he just kept on going, and to be fair, he's done really, really well. And so for him to go out the way that he has is such a shame. But let's hope that he comes back next season and he's able to take what he's done this season and put it into next season for sure.
And for you, would he be the first name on the team sheet next season on a 2 point average as well?
Well, I've got two. There's two riders that I'd put down straight away.
I think everybody knows who they are anyway.
Yeah, probably. But no, for me personally, I've had a really good time doing all of this. It's been full on. It's obviously the Revy riders now take a little bit of a thing now, and hashtag team 997, and and that's really cool because the experience they get with that, having Harris and Cruz now, and then we started with 3 riders, and then we've gone to 7 riders. And I'm sure that when we have the dates announced for the under-19 and the Alan Graham meeting, that we'll have even more riders down there. But yeah, it's felt like 5 minutes this season has. Remember, press and practice feels like 5 minutes ago.
I remember it was about this wet actually on press and practice day.
yeah. It was, and yeah, all the excitement of the season. We were down a rider already with James crashing out at Plymouth. I think it was the night before, I think. And but yeah, it's been one ride, that's for sure.
It's just been announced this morning, fans forum on the 29th at Aston Manor Cricket Club. Nigel Tolley will be there. So what details can you give on that? What can we expect from that night?
So it's free entry to everyone. It's not just a Birmingham Speedway Supporters Club member event. It's open out to all the fans. It's something that we've been in discussions with Nigel to do for a couple of weeks now. We didn't know whether we were going to do it as a podcast at first, because we have done one with him before, but it felt like going out to the fans was the best option, really. And we all had the date in the diary because it was originally supposed to be another event. But giving it out to free for the fans, I think is something to, it's kind of like a thank you, really, like go and speak to Nigel. Lawrence is going to be the compare, so Lawrence is going to be asking the tough questions to Nigel, so he can approach the subjects as he'll always do. He'll just ask straight to the point, will Lawrence.
And the thing is with Nigel as well is he will answer openly. There's no kind of sugarcoating anything. He will come out and say things as it is. So I think that, it can be expected to be a really open and frank kind of event.
he never holds back. You know, if you wanna know something, go and ask him. He'll tell you. You know, he's not one of these ones that he won't sugarcoat it. He'll tell you as it is. He won't tell you something else and it means something else. He'll just straight down the centre. He's got nothing. He doesn't hide anything. He's got nothing to hide. You know, so hopefully we can touch at where we are. You know, with I mean, that's what most people are going to want to go
to
find
try
out.
and quash some of the rumours that are being posted on Facebook.
And there's quite a few. There's quite a few from what I've seen, and I think what everybody's seen. People think it's this. People think it's that. Someone's saying this, that, the other. You know.
And do you think some of these rumours come from the fact that Wolverhampton's going and that, you know, people are kind of sort of scaremongering themselves into it a little bit and thinking, oh, Midland Speedway is just going to die a quick death?
I think it's just the Chinese whispers.
Mm.
I think everyone can play, you know, everyone's played that game and see how something can be said one way and it means something else or it's completely different. So I think that's what it is. I think a big proportion of that is that. So rather than, you know, people thinking one thing, just go. I mean, because the other thing as well is that Birmingham as a city is in a very different place. You know, we all know the news. We all, you know, it's been reported again about the situation that, you know, the city finds itself in. So, you know, and I'm not saying that that's going to affect us or will affect us. I don't know. So we're all in a bit of unknown water with what this actually means for the city. So we just need to go to the source and just find out, because as he he posted on Facebook a few weeks back, and I'm totally with this. If Tolly can't fix it, no one can. And he had it as a jumper or t-shirt, I think it was. And I don't know whether it was brought for him as a present or something. But yeah, if Tolly can't fix it, no one can.
And I suppose this situation makes your job more difficult as well, because as the chairman, obviously, you've got to try and, now the season's come to an end, you've got to try and plan for things for next season and put things in place. So I suppose that makes your job a lot harder, not knowing what will happen next season as well.
It's been the way that the performances have been, unfortunately, has made the job a bit more challenging. However, that said, there's been some aspects of what we've done as a supporters club the results that we've had from it have been truly astonishing. And I'm sure that we'll touch on in a bit later. You know, we were able to give donations out and have done to the club. We've even put on events to raise money for the club, and these have all been received really well. So yeah, the planning for next season, I've kind of got two ways that we can we're in a sort of like a road junction. If we get the green light to go that way, we're going to go that way. If it's amber light and we've got to go and do something else, we need to do that. And it's kind of like I've got about 4 different plans of what it will look like, but everything has got the one thing about it, which is keeping Speedway alive to the people that were into it for the foreseeable future. That's what we set out to do in the first year, so this year, and that's what we'll set out to do for the next few years.
Another event coming up, the end of season Christmas party. Have you got the details for that yet?
Yeah, so the Christmas party is on Friday, the 8th of December. There's going to be a Cubs, like we did last year. The Cubs Club are going to have the first part of it, and then the sort of the adult evening will then take place straight away afterwards. It was really well received last year. We was able to have James Wright with us and his lads. So he was one of the signings that we made around that time, and so he came down which was awesome to see. And then, you know, the plan is to have something very similar to that. In terms of prices and things and what's going to happen, that's all under wrap at the minute. Obviously, we're trying to just focus on getting these last 2 meetings done. And when I mean meetings, I mean the actual meetings at the track. And then we can work on it. But the one thing that we have got is we've got time on our hands. Whereas before, when we did the last Christmas party, I think we decided the November to run it in the December. It was really quick. And the one thing I've always said to the committee is that we've always had our back to the wall, because we hadn't. When I got the call to, would you do this role, etc. We didn't have a lot of time to plan, and it was, we got to do this, and you know, everyone's in the committee has worked really hard to achieve everything we have.
And have you got kind of a committee in mind? Will there be many changes in your kind of supporters club committee from this season to next, or is all that up in the air at the moment as well?
No, so 90% of people have come back as it stands to say that they will continue the roles and stuff, which is great, because we need everybody to be, you know, it's a big committee. It's a big committee because we're a big supporters club, because we hold a lot of different roles. Track shop is the biggest thing that a fan will see and touch base with us every single time they walk into the stadium at Berry Bar. So that team in itself is massive. Dylan, you'll know you'll know very well of the social media aspect. You know, that's massive. Dave Dale must wonder if I ever sleep, because he might get a text message from me in the middle of the night, and you know, the post is out really quickly. And you know, 50-50 team, away day travel, Cubs club. So, you know, we need all those. We need everybody to carry on the good work that we've done, because I don't think. I mean, I had a thought in mind how it would go. Like, this is what I want to achieve. We've just completely blown all of those things out of the water.
And I'll know only too well if you sleep at night, because I'll get those dreaded messages. I've got a graphic for you.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is
and
true.
Then that heart sinking moment. So your first season as the chairman, how has it been for you personally, being the chairman of the BSSC for the first time on what has been a tough season overall as well?
Do you know what? Overall, I've really enjoyed it. It's come with some days have been wow, that was a tough day. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's opened up a lot of things that I would never have necessarily seen just as being a fan. You know, I was already part of the volunteers on a Sunday anyway. Although sometimes that role changes, where I've got to say, like, the Sunday just gone, Lawrence, myself, we were in the office planning, you know, end of season awards and things. So I do try and still help where I can, being one of the guys down there. Plus, as well, you know, being staff on the day, as a lot of our committee members are, again changes the things. So, I mean, you've got some of us that are flag marshals. I, for one, park the vans at the back of the pits, VIP gate, parking of the VIP, car park. You know, it's sort of when you go in, you get absorbed, you get sucked in, and it becomes very addictive, I must admit. But I've had a blast. It's been I've learned a lot. I've met some awesome people along the way. Some people now I can call friends, which, you know, I never thought I'd even know this person. And I also have spoke to like my rider hero. I think that's the biggest highlight for me. I'm going to be honest. Speaking to Mr. Lyons.
Your first attempt of hosting a podcast, which was quite successful, actually.
Yeah, I was just like scribbling things down.
Not as easy as it looks, is it?
Absolutely not. No. And that was just really cool. So yeah, it's been brilliant.
And what's it like for you as the chairman as well, going through a mid-season kind of management change with Lawrence stepping down, Stuart coming in? You kind of have to reintroduce yourself. Did that change the dynamics very much on a race night, and your relationships with people? Did that impact that at all?
No, we just had to go and I just went and met Stuart and just introduced myself, and he's been sound with us. Said to him what we would like to see as a supporters club. Engagement with the fans is something that we wanted to see. It's always I get. I mean, there's two ways of looking at that. You're going to get a lot more fan engagement when you're winning, right? Riders will probably are not in a good mood if they've lost, from what I've seen. And there's that line, and it's just been an unfortunate season for us in that way, because we've just we even as a sports club we brought, if the fans have seen the new checkered flag, when with thanks to Mike and Jill for doing this new checkered flag, Birmingham logo in the middle, because the old ones that we were using looked a little bit old, and it was time to replace them. And so that was a message that I sent, again, another late night message I sent to Mike. So we've tried to move the engagement that way, as well as the team flags at the top of the stadium on the flagpoles. What's the club flag, should I say? But no, I mean, Stuart's been sound. Whenever we've got through to the interval, can I have a rider? Which one is it going to be? And he'll look at his program and say, "Oh, okay, well, Sam can come out, or Alfie could come out," it's been, but it was always sound beforehand, So no, it's just a new face. That's all.
You talk of new initiatives that you brought in this season. The Supporters Club brought in the Rider of the Month award, obviously won a couple of times by Alfie Botel,
Yeah.
once I think by Sedgy, and once by Pool's Richard Lawson, which caused a little bit of a meltdown in the Speedway world. What was it like just to watch sort of everybody's views on that coming in?
An interesting one.
And first of all, people need to understand this is voted for by the supporters, not by the committee or the supporters club. It's voted for by fans.
Absolutely. Let's get that out there. We just put the vote up. You don't have to be a supporters club member to vote. It's on the forum. If people still know there's a forum, I know it's not used as much as it has done in recent years, but there is a forum. Just type in Birmingham Speedway Forum and it comes up. Likewise, Rider of the Year, you can vote now. It's on there. Or you can see us at the track shop and just vote. And there's normally in our piece towards the back of the programme, Dave writes out, it's you can vote. And I think it's fair to say that we weren't in a good place, and I'm just talking about fans, and I think it was the fans' way of showing, look, we're not happy now. Something needs to change, and it was suggested to me, and at first I thought it was really funny. And then actually, this person brought it to me and brought the reasons of why. And I was actually, well, do you know what? They have all the B. And what would happen if, say, we was in a situation like last season, we had Sedgy and James Pearson left. All the rest is either RR or guest. What do you do when you're going to a rider of the month and you're down to, say, one rider? You're not going to give it to RR. And is it really fair that that one rider gets it by default? I don't know. So, hey, we did what we thought was best, and the person, Richard, got 60% of the votes, just under 60% of the votes, and that tells you something. So, the fans spoke.
And to be fair, Richard gives absolutely everything when he guests as well. He was, maximums or near maximums, I think, every time he's guested for Birmingham this year. So he's as deserving as anyone.
For sure. He did some excellent performances for us. The shots that you saw on camera, he was always talking to the team, to the other our riders. Even if there was a shot of team talks, he'd be an active part of that team talk. It doesn't matter where that he's a pool rider. And so, yeah, we're a supporters club, but we speak and we put things on for the fans. And the fans told us that Rider of the Month should be him. And
I saw some comments saying people were, saying it was a bit disrespectful, but Nigel was approached to say, look, this is what's been voted and can we do it, before just going ahead and doing it. So the club did know it was going to happen and okayed it first.
100%. I sat down with Nigel and Lawrence, and both turned around to him and said, look, I've got a bit of a thing here. Rider of the Month has been voted for by the fans for Richard Lawson. Now, if you don't want us to do it, that's cool. If you do want us to do it, that's cool. And they both went, well, it's the fans, so go. So they did know. They did know.
And then finally, just to touch upon what is, sort of, how do you get involved in the supporters club? How do you become a member of the supporters club? What kind of methods is there to go through to do that for next season and beyond?
Yeah, so we have our AGM on the 1st of November. That's at Aston Manor. And so after that AGM, we'll start taking the membership applications for next season, because it kind of runs December through to December. So you can speak to anybody at the track shop. So the last 2 meetings of the season, you can go and speak to the guys at the track shop. Or alternatively, if you want to go and speak to Judy Stambouli, she's our membership officer, and she will give you the details. Or you can contact her on an email, which is judy@bssc.uk, and then or mine, andy@bssc.uk, and you'll be able to we'll put you in the right direction. It's cool.
And is this probably the season where the supporters club and the fans need to come together, if not more than previous seasons, with the uncertainty and stuff? Is it now the time to kind of all come together and give it that push as one united front?
I think so, because we need to show, and I've seen some comments on the forum, that we need to show the management that we want this. They've played a lot of money into Birmingham Speedway over the last 2 years, as have other owners. But we're at a real sort of critical point, because as we record this, we don't know. Unless by the time this goes out and we've found something out, then me and you will be doing a quick edit on this. But we need to show the management that we want this, and it's if and it is an if we're not around next season. We need to show them that, you know, when things are looking for another place or another site, whatever, there's still interest, and that's where we come in, because we've got to keep the fire going. So yeah, it's I understand. The supporters club over the last few years has been. I don't mean this in any disrespect, but it's been non-existent, really. It was there to serve a purpose, to help do the 50-50 raffle and things, but it has a purpose, and the thing is that there's a lot of people that are going to remember the supporters club from back in 2007, 8, 9, 10. Blimey, even I was on the committee at one of them years at some going back, and so, you know, it's kind of, when I said we've relaunched, and it's like with anything, you relaunch something, is people have got to people will be reserved at first and say, well, what are they doing? What are they going to do that, you know, somebody hasn't done before? Well, we ran 2 successful coaches to away day travel. We've done social events throughout the whole of the year, in the off season and in the close season. We set up a podcast so we can talk to riders or talk to former riders and get their story out there. You know, we've held a fete which then helped fund the repayment of the air fence. You know, and we relaunched the club to make it more accessible for children, so we can have that as a foundation, so we can build on that for next season and the following seasons. And it's always been a setup year, but, you know, so for next year things should be like even bigger and better.
And it's like, it's not you sat down at the start of the season and you came up with plans and you kind of rested on your laurels. There was constant proactivity through the season. You know, I came in and started working with you around May, maybe. The podcast ideas came in, and then I got involved with that as well. It's like even mid-season, latter stages of the season, whatever, ideas were still coming up and being put into action now, rather than shelved and wait for next year. It's not as if you had a plan at the start of the racing season and you thought, we'll go with these, and anything else that comes up we'll wait for. It's been very proactive in getting them out there as quick as possible.
And some of it is just, I mean, because at first when I was asked, I pretty much said yeah straight away. Tracy phoned me, right? You end up saying yeah to Tracy. You don't ever say no. Love you, Tracy. But and then I sat with a few mates of mine and set up a WhatsApp group, and I was like, what ideas? And a couple of people who actually then became committee members put some things on, and then I started then, you know, hatching ideas, writing them down, and I slowly just ticked them off. The only thing was, though, I ticked them off that quick that it was like, oh, okay, what's next? And, you know, and it'll just be either a conversation with you, Dill, or, you know, speaking to another member of a supporters club and go, well, actually, that's a good idea. But rather than nicking that idea, let's do it our way. So, like with this podcast that we're on, it's not, you know, we're not after, you know, trying to take over another podcast. You know, we're just solely for Birmingham fans, about Birmingham. That is it. And as I said to before we did the original Nigel one, it's just another media platform for you to use. We're just giving you this opportunity to go and speak to our fans. And you know, and it has, you know, the fate was an idea of Nikki's, and she and her team did an awesome job doing that. You know, the constant sort of looking at the Cubs club. Okay, what can we do next? What can we do next? And sometimes, you know, especially at the start of the season, it's cold, right? You've got a few kids there. I think the last meeting of the season, there was like over 20 kids. It's like, okay, well, we've built this, you know, to be in this. And the one thing I always say is everything's got to keep evolving. You know, we can always better ourselves. Even with this I'll go back to this podcast. We've changed the system that we use to record. That was another thing to change. And you know, you just got to go with the flow. But and everything just keeps on changing. If it works, don't fix it because it don't need to. But you know, if you can think that you can get something, it's even like with the thing with the sticky point with goals and Aston Manor. Now, the reason why so many events have been held at goals is because we couldn't get into Aston Manor. And I see what the fans are saying about the one venue to the other venue. But we just couldn't get in. And, you know, the dates that we have got, we've been really lucky to get in. But then another place helped us out. And so, you know, that's why we've got so many at the one and at the other. And it's just the involvement, you know, and when we come to look at what social events we're doing for next season and in the close season and during the season, you know, what's to say if we can't get into the one and we can't get into the other, we have to go to somewhere else because we've still got to do these events.
And now there is a viable third option as well, with the tennis court proving such a popular place for the summer fete as well. It's nice and close to the stadium as well. It was kind of the ideal location, so it gives another option for that now.
I've got to say to the three. Put my teeth in. The three venues that we've used this season have been awesome. Aston Manor, massive history with not just Birmingham Speedway Supporters Club, but Birmingham Speedway. Goals, you know, the staff there are awesome. They've been really helpful. They've been really generous to us, and you know, yeah, our relationship with them is really, really, really strong. The tennis courts on the Walsall Road, again, brilliant. You know, for us, it was really easy for us to work out the fate, what we could, what we couldn't do. And so, you know, we're in a really cool position now because if we can't go to one, we can go to the other. We can't, you know, and it's, you know, that's quite a nice place to be.
Mm. And just the last couple of things to touch on, supporters club merchandise. I understand there's still a sale going on for that.
Yeah, so everything's been reduced to even the Coventry stuff has been, obviously Coventry are making are in the news a little bit at the minute with the inquiry going on, and so yeah, everything's been reduced at the track shop. So if you want anything, come and get it. Just see the guys at the table, and we have the under 19 and the Alan Graham.
And I suppose just quickly, you touch on Coventry there. If, you know, the worst does happen and Birmingham does go, it doesn't necessarily mean it's the end. I mean, Coventry closed in 2016 and we're on, what, 7 years later? And there's still a battle going on, even as of recording, there's still an inquest going on now. You've had Oxford come back last season, and that was successful. You've had Workington come back for this season, that's been successful. You've got Wolves hopeful of coming back in 2025. So there is optimism there should the worst happen.
Absolutely. Speaking to Nigel about the situation, one of the first things that comes out of his mouth is, "I'm not here to be the last one, you know. I don't want to be that person." He goes, "Well, that's it, you know," and you've got to love that determination from him. It's actually quite infectious, really, because it makes you strive to be well, okay, what can we do to help with this, you know. which is what I was saying about the different plans of what we're going to do depending on where we are. So yeah, it's when next year is a big year, and I use the if we're not at Perry Bar next year, we got the supporters club becomes really important, because we got to keep in touch with the people that used to go, and then try and, so if we're at a position where we go, hey, we're now at this place, wherever that may be, build everything to help management of Birmingham Speedway and work with them to bring fans back, and that's going to be a big job, but we're absolutely up for the task if that's what we need to do.
Now we'll just end off on, you mentioned earlier about making a donation to the Air Fence Fund from the Summer Fete and all the events for this season. Have you got a kind of figure as to how much the supporters have managed to put into that Air Fence Fund for the sports club?
Yeah, so the exact total has left me, but it was just over 1,300 quid, which is an absolute amazing thing that we were able to do. It's not the first time that we've done it, but this time is a little bit different because the summer fete that we ran generated the 300, and I think it's 319, but don't quote me on that. And then the 1,000 that we put in was just things that we've raised. Raffles at social evenings, the social evenings themselves, and it does tell us that actually that there is a want for Speedway. People are interested. You've the BSN and Brummies TV or Scorpions TV or any of the others. They make it so much more accessible because it's accessible because people want to watch it. With Discovery and Eurosport and stuff, whether it be on a worldwide level, people do want to watch it, and people are interested about their club as well. So a massive thank you to all the supporters, whether you are an away fan that's bought stuff from the track shop, or you're a Birmingham fan that is a Birmingham Speedway Sports Club member, or you're not a member but you've been to an event of ours, or you've donated in some way by buying something from the track shop. Thank you very much, because it's without you that we are not able to do this. And it's the second donation that we've done this season, and thanks to everyone who's helped with that.
I think that's the perfect place to end on. It's been a very insightful chat. It's been a long overdue catch up as well. It's been a while since we've last caught up, and a lot's changed. I know there are still some things going on behind the scenes with the BSSC regarding what we're going to do after the season finished as well, so the club can focus on their future. So that's something for people to keep an eye out on the page. But yeah, massive thanks for joining me today. A lot of useful information for people, and hopefully people can get behind the supporters club and get behind the club and the management as the fight for the future of Birmingham Speedway continues.
Yeah, that's it. I think so, and I think if everything's in place for it to go somewhere, we just need to find. It's just getting the final. I've said this all season. It just needs the final piece of the jigsaw, and then the whole thing will just click. And then I said it before, and I'll say it again. If Tolly can't fix it, no one can.
Thanks for your time today, Andy.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.